Hey Movebubblers, it's Kendall and welcome back to our channel. On today's video, we're going to be asking the question, what are your renting rights if the landlord sells your home? So without further ado, let's get straight to the video. So you have found the perfect pad, you have signed it to your tenancy and you have settled in nicely. And then you find out that the landlord has put your home on the market. So what happens when the home is transferred from one property owner to the next? In this video, we're going to be giving you a detailed explanation of what your renting rights are if the landlord sells your home. So why would a landlord put a property on the market? Landlords see their buy-to-let properties as an investment, and from time to time they might decide to cash in rather than receive their regular rental income. There are many reasons why a landlord will put the property on the sales market. Perhaps a property is increased significantly in value, or the landlord no longer wants to be a landlord, or there's a better investment somewhere else, or perhaps they're even raising capital to spend elsewhere, such as a bigger family home. Whatever the reason is for the landlord selling the property, this definitely can make the renter feel uneasy, especially if it raises the question, what if the new owner wants to live in the property? So the good news is you won't be left without a home if the landlord decides to sell the property, as long as you have a valid AST. So what are the renter rights when a landlord decides to sell the property? Well, the good news is that you won't be left without a home if the landlord does decide to sell, if you have a valid AST. If you have a rental contract in place, then the new owner cannot ask you to leave the property until the lease is over. That means that the lease will continue through and after the sale is complete. Once the tenancy comes to an end, much like the previous landlord, the new owner has the right to take the property back. However, they must still give you at least 2 months notice, as the tenancy will go into a rolling contract. What are the legalities surrounding a transfer of ownership? So when the landlord sells the place that you're living in, the details of the tenancy transfer over to the new owner. This means that they become the landlord for the duration of the tenancy, and their names then replace the previous landlords on the lease. Fundamentally, not much should change as long as you have an AST in place. Otherwise, there might be 1 or 2 minor changes where the landlord might decide to change up the managing strategy and manage the property themselves, or potentially invest in a property management company to help them manage the property for them. So will the new owner definitely want the place back? Well, I can tell you that most people that buy tenanted properties do so with the aim to invest themselves. It can often be a hassle to buy a place with the desire to move into it and then have to wait for the renter to vacate. That being said, it's not an impossible situation. However, most people, as mentioned before, that buy a tenanted property do so because they want to carry on renting it out. What happens if you want to leave the property? If a situation has arisen and perhaps you have to leave earlier than intended, or just like a new owner buying your rented home, it all depends what's in the contract. Of course, there may be a situation where the landlord wants to live in the property and you are wanting to leave, therefore both parties mutually agree to end the tenancy early. If for whatever reason the landlord wants you to stay living in the property, then you will be legally bound by the terms of the AST. What happens during viewings? Well, viewings can be the most annoying part of when your home goes on the sales market. Hopefully the new owner has software that is comparable to Movebubble's video walkthroughs, where you can literally view a property from the comfort of your own home. However, if they wish to visit you physically, then you will in fact have to accommodate the potential buyers. The current landlord should communicate with you throughout the entire process, and you do have the right to refuse viewings if you haven't been given reasonable notice. However, a good line of communication between the renter, landlord and estate agent will ensure a smooth process for property viewings. At the end of the day, it can be super frustrating if the landlord decides to sell the property that you're living in, but as long as you have a binding rental agreement in place, then you have nothing to worry about. Also, you may just get a brand new landlord who's much nicer than the last, ensuring that your in-life tenancy is much smoother and nicer before you move on to your next adventure. Well, that's it from me. If you guys are looking for new properties, then don't forget to head onto the Movebubble app, where you can find some incredible property video walkthroughs as well as plenty of information on renting. If you liked today's video, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see videos just like this. Also, leave us a comment in the section below because we love to hear your thoughts. That's it from me. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!